Hello, wonderful students. Today we're going to learn about how to make a book snap. A book snap is a way for you to show me that you are understanding what you're reading and that you're responding to it, not just reading it blindly. So what you're going to do with your book snaps is you're going to start by creating a Google slide presentation. And all your book snaps will go in the same slide presentation. So once you have it, you're going to use that same set of slides for the entire year. And what you're going to do is start with a nice little cover page. I already made mine. It says Miss Whitman's Book Snaps 2019 to 20. And I put a nice little background. And once I've got that, for my first book snap, I'm going to go to a new slide. I already made it a pretty purple background. And I'm going to go first and I'm going to write down the title and author of my book in the speaker notes of my slide. It's very important that you remember to do this. It's part of your grade and it does matter because it helps me to know what you're reading. So you're going to, in italics, because it's a book title, you're going to write the title of your book. My book is called Unselfie. And then you're going to write the name of the author. So my author is Michelle Borba. And then you're also going to write the date below that. So today is 9/16/19. So I'm going to put in the date. This is all super helpful information. It helps me to keep track of your work and when it's getting done. Now, what you're going to do next is you're going to put in two important pictures in your slide. So one of them should be a picture of the cover of your book. Now, what I did is I used my camera on my phone. I took a picture of my book cover, and I also took a picture of the page of text I wanted to look at. Now, if you wanted to, you could pretty easily just go into Google and do an image search, and then you could find a picture of your book cover. So for me, if I went in there and I just searched unselfie book cover, and I did an image search, look, up it pops. Now, I can definitely use the picture I took, but I might want to use this one just because it's really clear and easy to read. It's a little nicer than the picture I took. So I'm going to click copy image, and I'm going to paste that image right into my presentation. And I'm going to make it a lot smaller than this because it's important, but it's not the most important thing. So I'm going to put it up over here in the corner for now. I might move it later. Now I need to go and get that picture I took of the page of text. And that's a picture I took myself. You want to make sure when you're taking the picture of the text that it's really clear so that it's easy for someone else to read. So this is a pretty decent picture. It's not the best one I could ever take because it's kind of got some shadows going on, but it'll work. So I took this picture. I'm going to download it. And then I'm going to copy and paste the picture I took into my slide. So I'm going to click on copy, I'm going to go back over to my slide presentation, and I'm going to paste that picture. And it's not the neatest picture I ever took. So what I might also think about doing is a little bit of cropping. Where's my picture? Uh-oh, it doesn't love me. Let's try that again. So I will go back to my picture that I downloaded. Sometimes technology is fun. And so I will, once again, let's try this. I will copy the image. I'll go over to my slide and I'll hit paste. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to do some cropping here so it looks a little neater. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get rid of this extra stuff, save myself some space. And then I'm going to go down here a little bit. And there we go. Okay, so now I have my picture of text. It looks pretty small in this presentation, but if I click on present, you'll see it's actually pretty big. It's pretty easy to read. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to move it over this way a little bit more. And then what I need to do is add probably what's most important of all, and that is my response to the text. So the book I read, I'll just tell you a little bit. It's called Unselfie, and it's about how it's important to teach kids to be empathetic and about how kids are becoming more and more selfish, especially because of social media. They're obsessed with video blogs about themselves and selfies and just, being the center of attention instead of thinking about the needs of others. And so this section that I chose is a section that I wanted to comment on because it's something I found interesting. So I can either now create a text box with my response, or I could go over to shape and I could add in a little call out if you wanted to make it pretty. So for example, I could grab this nice little cloud call out here and I could make a nice little cloud. And that's actually not that nice thing. It's kind of weird looking, but you can kind of readjust it. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to change my font size to about size 12. That's reasonable. And then I'm going to write my response to the specific text that I shared. So I might write something like, let's see, I'll say this part of the text This part of my book caught my attention because it indicated that, I'm going to make this bigger so you guys can see what I'm writing. So I'm going to say this part of my book caught my attention because it indicated that today's young people expect to receive trophies just for showing up and participating in activities. This excerpt, an excerpt is like a little piece of text, so I'm just talking about the piece that I took a picture of. So I say this excerpt also shows or also explains that red pen is no longer considered a good color for teachers to use for grading because it makes students feel insecure. I think that maybe, not maybe, I think that changing, forcing teachers to grade in only certain pen colors is rather silly, and that perhaps young people just need to become a little bit tougher and more resilient. It's important to make every to show all children that they are special, but not everyone deserves a trophy. So what I've done here is I've given a little explanation of, oh my gosh, how did I do that? I've given a little explanation of what the text says, but more importantly, I've given my opinion and my response to it. And it's a little bit not fitting in my clouds. I'm going to make the font size 11, and then I'm going to move this cloud a little bit and make it bigger. So you're going to have to do a little finagling to get things to look the way you want. And that is part of the process. So as you can see, I now have my excerpt, I have my book cover, and I have my thoughts about the text. Now, what I also would like to include, if I'm feeling especially creative and wanting to do my very best and get the best grade, I might also want to add some kind of a picture that shows my reaction. So what I like to use is Bitmojis. So I have the Bitmoji extension on my Chromebook, and you can do that. You can get it too really easily. And I feel like my feelings when I read this part of the text are kind of like annoyed, exasperated even. But I also think there's a trophy thing. So I could search trophy and look at that. Now I could find a picture of a Bitmoji of myself with a trophy. So if I'm going to do copy image, I can paste that little image right in there. And it's kind of awesome because the trophy says you're the worst. So it's kind of funny. So now I have my little trophy, and I want to make sure I'm not covering up too much of the text here. And now I have a book snap. So this is what one book snap looks like. And for each of the books that you read, you're going to be creating 3 book snaps, and you can do them all throughout the time leading up to the due date for that book. So at the end of each marking period, you should have 9 book snaps done. And they should each contain the picture of the cover, the picture of the excerpt you chose, your comments, and then some kind of an image. Some of my students have been really creative, and I'll show you some examples in class. Maybe I have already, but you want to make this kind of uniquely yours and show me that you're really understanding what you're reading. Your comments over here should be between 3 and 8 sentences. So don't write me a novel, but don't write me one sentence too. I also know it's very important that you go in and proofread your comments. I'm going to go back in and make sure that I didn't make any spelling errors. So let's do a quick check here. Let's see, this part of my book caught my attention because I might find something that I want to change. This sentence is kind of weird, so I might say excerpt also. This excerpt also, I'll say, indicates that red pen is on.